is going to try this, and it will be a 60, let's call it 63-yard attempt. Spotted at the Bronco 47-yard line. Sam's a little hot. Elam's kick. Oh, the line drive. It's got enough distance.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's kick it real quick. We are Long Distance Kicks. We are the premier brothers Zoom-based Denver Broncos podcast on the internet. Now coming to you with more than 10 subscribers, hitting high highs.
Whoa!
I know.
I didn't
Listen,
know this.
I
Oh,
went.
yeah. Shout out to Elisa's cousins, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Shout out to the Campbell side of the
right.
family.
Mm.
Some Broncos faithful over there. It's the best of times and the worst of times, Ian. Um,
Yep.
we are 48 hours away from a playoff game, a game that reasonably that you would say we are Vegas is making us favorites in a playoff game. We're not happy to be here, Ian. We are expectant. We are on the brink, the precipice, if you will, of something incredible. But I think
The
I want to
cusp.
save. I think I want to save that conversation. I want to table it for a second. We're gonna talk about this upcoming playoff game, but I want to get your thoughts on a couple things first. Lots of stuff has been
Great.
happening. We've been
Great.
away for a Black Monday. We've been away for a whole wild card weekend of playoff games because you know what, the Denver Broncos, we don't do wild card weekend. You know,
Can't
it's
imagine.
for
Can't
it's for
imagine.
that's for poor franchises who don't have
Yeah.
Walmart money, right? Um, I want to know your thoughts on a couple some big name head coaches leaving. Just real quick.
Mm.
So, uh,
Yeah.
like, talk to me a little bit. The AFC North, man. Kevin Stefanski, I thought was a very very good coach, probably the best Browns coach I can remember. He is out in Cleveland. Then right after right after the season, big shocker, John Harbaugh gets fired, is out in Baltimore, and the last big boom was Mike Tomlin mutually agreeing to part ways with the Pittsburgh Steelers, um,
Yeah.
and we've gotten the first domino has fallen already this offseason. We know Harbaugh is going to be in New York, but Ian, I just want to know um, what's the what how do I say this? How do I say this? Who's the better coach, and what's the better job um, between these two like historic franchises?
No.
One that's only been around since 1996, but has had a winning tradition, has had a little bit more volatility to it, and the other in Pittsburgh, just an absolute institution. If you're a young coach, if you're a franchise, who are you looking for? And if you're a coach, who would you rather coach?
Yeah. It feels like a really hard thing to do to determine. I mean, you're asking. Are you asking? I know you're asking which is the better job between the Ravens and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Are you also asking who is the better coach between Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh?
Yes. Just
Okay.
a two-part. I was like, what
I
if
feel
I
like
asked you a question for a solid minute and I made it two or three parts?
I I feel like it's hard to say when you are in a place, one place for as long as these two guys were. I feel like it gets really difficult to gauge. Like for example, Mike Tomlin. In little caveat here, it's widely believed that he's probably taking at least a year off,
Hmm.
which makes sense and everything. So it's not like he's going to be one of the names in this cycle, but. Uh, you do wonder about Mike Tomlin, like how much juice does he have left? It felt underwhelming towards the end in Pittsburgh, but also at the same time, I mean, Mike Tomlin in was it 19 seasons?
Hmm.
Never a losing season. That's unbelievable. right? Like, I
Mm,
mean, we
yeah.
can we can talk about like it's been again I'm kind of stuck in mediocrity more or less, but the reality is the man has not had a losing season in 19 years. That's incredible. John Harbaugh, kind of a similar thing, has kept the Ravens relevant, postseason relevant throughout his time there. Kind of went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson seamlessly. Has typically picked pretty good staff over the years as well. Between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it's really hard to say. I do think that uh, whoever's taking the Pittsburgh job, there has got to be some expectations that come with that because,
Hmm.
Rhett, I mean, we've talked about it before, but like, Mike Tomlin, before him there was Bill Cowher, and then before him there was Chuck Noll. Like, this is not a franchise that has a lot of head coaches, and these head coaches win, and they win over an extended duration of time. And so, I think you know, some of that goes into it. They're in the same division, so it's hard to really say. I feel like I maybe prefer the Baltimore job simply because of number 8.
Yeah.
I mean that's it, right? I mean, Lamar Jackson makes that job appealing. You immediately start with a top 5 quarterback on your team. That's hard to beat. But yeah, as far as who like goes to those places, it's hard to say. I don't know all of who these guys have interviewed. The guy that I just feel like is going to end up in Pittsburgh, for some reason, I'm feeling like Jeff Halfley. For some reason,
Okay.
is just popping into my brain, which I think he's a good candidate. I mean, defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, has had a really good couple years as their defensive play caller. I could see the Steelers going that route. As far as the Ravens go, um, I'm not really sure. I thought like Brian Flores would be a really cool hire there, and I still hold to that. He honestly would be cool in Pittsburgh too. I know he has a history there. Um, I'm for the Ravens. I'm leaning like Jesse Minter. Uh,
Mm.
for I feel like he's got the Mike McDonald connection, former Ravens defensive coordinator, and maybe I just really want Jesse Minter out of the AFC West. Maybe that's part of it. So yeah, so that's kind of my take on those things. I do kind of want to pivot though, Rhett, and talk a little bit about the Harbaugh hire.
Yeah.
I like the Giants going after him. He clearly was like, once he became available, it was clear the Giants were like, okay, he is now our top candidate, understandably so. Rhett, listen, I don't know who his staff is going to be yet. I know he is targeting Anthony Weaver for his
Okay.
defensive coordinator. Very, very
Hmm.
ascending, well thought of coach. Um, Brett, if Harbaugh gets Anthony Weaver with that front, and if he's able to bring Todd Monken with him to the, the New York Giants, man, they could be a fun team next year.
I wonder about that because that roster is it's full of holes, but it has some really, really nice
Yeah,
pieces. And
yeah,
you bring in an adult in the room like John Harbaugh, and Harbaugh's thing is he's just so good at rounding out your roster with sort of the leftover pieces with whatever you've got. He can put together a half decent roster, and he's good at setting guys up for success. I feel like Harbaugh's superpower in his however many years in Baltimore, I think 17 years in Baltimore, something like that.
yeah. It's very
uh
similar to Tomlin's tenure.
and I think his thing has been he just hires so well. Like I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful to see like it'd be cool because the Giants are in the NFC. It'd be great if the Giants were good. Of all the NFC East teams, um I like the Giant. I hate the Giants the least. I would say out of those teams. So it'd be kind of nice for them to be on top for a bit. But I I am so interested in how much power the that the Mora family is actually going to not Mora,
Mara,
Mara,
you
the
you were
Mara
very
family. Yeah,
close. Wrong
I was
football
like,
family.
I know, I was like, no way, playoffs. Um, no, the Mara family. How much power are they going to actually realistically be willing to give up? And like, is this they paid John Harbaugh a whole bunch of money and like they're gonna let him do his thing, or are they like, hey, we paid you a whole bunch of money. and now you need to listen because this is the
Yeah,
same people that sat there and on camera were like, well, it would be a really bad thing if like Saquon went to the Eagles,
yeah,
he's kind of
yeah.
I like so I hope that Harbaugh is able to have the space.
It
And
it feels
if he
like
is, whew,
Yeah, it feels like he probably will. It's interesting because a lot of the debate has been like, is Joe Shane, their GM, is he a factor in whether or not Harbaugh says yes to the job? Is he someone that like, much like how like Liam Cohen last year with Jacksonville said like, I'm not coming there unless you get rid of Trent Baalke, which by
mhm.
the way, I mean, proved to be the move, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he was
hey.
right. Liam Cohen was right. Uh, they wondered if like Harbaugh was going to be like, "I'll come if you get rid of Joe Shane." Well, Joe Shane has not been fired. It seems like he's going to be there.
He's
However,
probably demoted.
I would imagine that Harbaugh probably gets a little more like it feels like the Maras were just like, and by the way, John, like we'll fire Joe Shane if you want us to just say the word. He's like, oh, it's fine. Let me just. I don't know if you heard me. Like if you want us to get rid of Joe Shane, we'll do it. It feels like yeah. It feels like maybe ideally that relationship works in the way that like Sean Payton and George Payton have, where like George Payton still very much has
Mhm.
power, but it is very much they're walking in step with each other, um, and so I don't know. It's
Well, see,
interesting, but
I'm
yeah,
intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how John Harbaugh handles the passing game because I feel like in his tenure, like since they had Lamar, I feel like their passing game has often been kind of down in the muck or like very simple or whatever. And I'm
yeah,
wondering, like, I'm interested. That's one piece that like we're going to figure out.
yeah,
I don't think that it's necessarily Lamar. I know that some people are like, is it Lamar? Is it the coordinators? Is
yeah.
it John? Is it Harbaugh? Splitting those two up, this divorce of this quarterback and coach is going to be really interesting because I'd like to see the Ravens. I haven't heard this yet, and I think it's because like he's antithetical to the Ravens vibe. But uh, if we could get, uh, I want to, I was about to say Mike McDonald, um, uh,
Mike McDaniel, is that what you think?
McDaniel. There we go. Yeah,
No, it's
I was
funny you
like, no,
say that, Rhett,
McDonald is.
because it just popped up on my phone that the Ravens have completed an interview with him.
Hey,
So
listen, give Mike McDaniel, Lamar Jackson, and figure the rest out.
that that could that could be kind of sick. And
That's
then
my
like
that's my pitch, man.
yeah, and then trade for Jalen Waddle in the offseason, like
Yeah,
what are we doing?
yeah, do
What are we
whatever,
doing
man.
here?
Do a bunch of flips. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just start doing stunts,
That'd be
man.
kind of cool.
That's my hope for Baltimore. I want someone to go in there and just absolutely juice the offense. So,
Dude,
uh,
going from Tua to Lamar Jackson is like if you like took like the latest iPhone and then you like went into a portal back in time and like took my very first phone from me and handed me like that's like this is a whole new world, man. This is like McDaniel is gonna if he goes there, he's gonna see Lamar in practice and it's gonna be like looking at flying cars.
you're
He,
like
it's gonna
you're
be
like, listen,
completely
bud,
different.
that flip phone's cool. You can ask the computer to create an image and it will here.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
won't be good. It'll be kind of weird and it'll end the world, but it's going to be
yeah.
great. Yeah, that would be insane. And as a Broncos fan, I deep down kind of hope Vance Joseph gets a shot at the Steelers job. It
Okay.
may be like it- I think he may honestly he might be too old for the Steelers. They hire really young coaches, so he may be out of it that age wise. But I feel like if he's given a long runway, his the fact that every single stop of the way, even whenever he was in Denver and it wasn't going well for him, uh so many of his players just like absolutely loved him. I think sets up well and it fits the Steelers thing. Like
Yeah,
he's a defensive mind, he's a leader of men. And like that is Mike Tomlin, that is Bill Cowher, that is Chuck Noll to to a T, and
Yep.
I'd like to see him given a long leash at his next stop, wherever it is.
Yeah, man. It'll be interesting to see how all the pieces fall. Rhett, real quick, I'm going to throw out some of our coaches, and I just
Hmm.
want you to give me a yes, they will be here next year, or no, they will not. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start. For obvious one, Vance Joseph.
Uh, I I don't think so. I think enough guys have stepped away that are actually probably gonna like take a year off. I feel like this is a year where there's not like a young hot offensive mind on the table. More defensive guys are going to be hired this year. Vance Joseph is doing crazy stuff, and he's going to get another opportunity somewhere.
Davis Webb.
Davis Webb is going to be with us, and I think we might have to promote him to keep him.
Okay. And we
And
and we already did last year.
mhm,
I
I
and
think we're going to promote him again. I think
I'm
Sean
not
Payton
even like
loves
a
Davis Webb.
I'm not even a Davis Webb savant per se,
Hmm.
but I am so annoyed with like why can we not just fire Joe Lombardi and promote Davis Webb to that? Like
That's
Joe Lombardi, that dude doesn't do anything, man.
I don't even think we have to fire him. I just
Last
think we have to promote him out of relevance.
right. Yes. Senior offensive advisor Joe Lombardi. Uh last one, Jim Leonard. He's getting some
I think I
interviews.
think
He's getting some interviews for a defensive coordinator.
I think we keep him because I think we're going to pay better than anyone else.
Okay.
I
Fair
think I
enough.
think I think Vance Joseph is going to leave, and I think Jim Leonard is going to be paid very well to stay. I know that there's some arguments to say if you're Jim Leonard, why not go try to like diversify your experience portfolio, go onto a defense that you can improve instead of taking a great defense and maintaining it. I think we're going to pay him a bunch of money.
Okay. All right. So you heard it here first, guys. According to Rhett, he guarantees Vance Joseph will be
Hmm.
gone, but we will keep Davis Webb and Jim Leonard. Okay. Well, I hope you're right.
Vance Joseph to the Steelers of all things too.
I
No,
mean, that'd be kind of cool.
I would not guarantee. I don't even like. I genuinely think he's too old. I'm excited for the Steelers. I hope they hire someone. I hope they hire someone that we don't even know or something. It's gonna
We've
be.
never heard of.
I don't know.
Well,
The
they did hire.
only the
They
only
didn't
young
hire. They did.
defensive guy I know is Kelvin Shepard. That's around. So maybe him. I don't know.
There's no other. There's no other young defensive guys. There's only Kelvin
Well,
Shepard.
not that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't.
So I mean, I would have. So I would put like because young is a relative term. I would put like Halfley and Minter like or a Chris Shula firmly in that young defensive mind
They're all in
category.
their 40s. Ian, I'm telling you, every Steelers head
You want
coach
a you want
hired
a
since the moon landing has been 38 years or younger when they started.
okay. They did interview. This is more of an offensive guy, which would be bucking the trend a little bit there. But I believe they interviewed Nathan Shielhaas, who is
Oh,
the
okay.
off. I want to say he's the offensive coordinator or the passing game coordinator for the Rams.
Okay.
Shielhaas was a guy that, I mean, he was a really good quarterback at Illinois. I remember I used to get those like draft magazines, you remember, like from
Mm-hmm.
Walmart and stuff. And I
Yeah.
remember one year there was like a write up on him in like the quarterback section. Like he's a real good college quarterback, been kind of a well thought of coach over the last few years, rising the ranks, and he's getting head coach interviews already. Very young,
Mm-hmm.
definitely like early to mid 30s. So that could be interesting. We'll see.
It
Another one, Grant Udinsky, who I believe is 30, who is the offensive coordinator of the Jags. I believe the Browns interviewed him for their head coach. So, yeah, we're getting some young fellows, man, that are getting interviews. So,
we can see. My last thought on the whole coaching carousel thing is Pittsburgh a good job? Um,
hmm,
the,
yeah,
is
it's a
it a
fair
good
question.
I don't know. I've taken you take a look at an organization kind of anytime when they fire the coach, when they do whatever, nothing has changed in Pittsburgh for 17 years. what's their scouting department look like? I don't. These are things I don't know. But I feel like with Pittsburgh, they always like they draft weird dudes and they just make them work. They hire random guys and they make it work. Oh, I know nothing about ownership because it's just been Tomlin running the show, and so that I suppose is a positive. But I don't know. Like I'm very interested to see
Yeah.
is Pittsburgh as prestigious a job as it maybe should be, or are you saying,
Well,
hey, this is a really weird kind of backward place? This is like if Cincinnati
yeah.
won games.
Well, yeah, I don't know, Rhett. I think the argument that could be made for Pittsburgh, I think there are two big things, and I don't know anything about their cap situation or anything like that. But the two things I would pitch if I were
Hmm.
Pittsburgh Brass was number one, I would point to, hey, we hire guys and then we stick with them
Hmm.
for the long haul. Like we're not just looking for, a quick, few years. We're wanting a guy to be here long term. Like we want you to have job security here. We want to stick it out.
Hmm.
Secondly, I would say like as of right now, that division's pretty winnable. I mean the Ravens they won the division with what was were they 9-8?
Hmm.
Um, it's a winnable division
And
right now.
everybody else has a new coach except for the Bengals.
except for the except for the worst head coach
I saw
of the
I saw a graphic. Someone put out a graphic today that was like the best coach from every division, and the point was that like John Harbaugh is already the best coach in the NFC East, but for the AFC North, they put just like an like a blank. They left it blank, and they said not Zach Taylor
yeah,
because he's the
yeah,
only coach in the division right now.
yeah.
Uh, it was good. It was some good stuff on the internet. Okay, that's for the coaching carousel. Ian, I want to take us to a new segment that we're
Mm,
going to be doing because every year you spend so much time putting together. You love watching draft prospects. You love looking for guys based on needs that the Broncos have, and I like to hear about it. And we're just going to incorporate that desire of mine into this podcast. So we're going to do
yeah,
a segment called "Finding Broncos." I think is what we've landed on.
yep.
And today, Ian, you're going to tell me about Jake Golday? Is that how you pronounce it?
Golday, yeah, Jake Golday. I believe it's Jake Golday. So let me start with this, Rhett. So yes, you're right. I do. I like looking at draft prospects. I want to give a couple of caveats because I want to make it clear. Like this is not something I do in. This is very much an amateur hobby thing for me. I remember a couple years ago emailing a guy in the industry and just like, hey, like, what is a way to get like college all 22 because I'm really interested in watching. And the
Mhm,
guy he responded to me and it was really kind of him to respond and he was very nice about it. And he was just kind of like, hey man, to be honest, it's just one of those things that you're just probably not going to get. Like, he said it's very much a privilege thing with a lot of us who've been in the industry and we have access to it and and he's like sometimes we forget it's a given for us, but like it's just kind of something that so I'm not watching college all 22. I want to just be
mhm,
upfront about that. But I also like I don't believe that should stop but anybody from trying to evaluate prospects if that's a hobby of theirs. I just try to keep that in mind when I'm watching. Like I'll try to watch stuff like on Draft Breakdown on YouTube or other cut up channels, which are not all 22. And if you don't understand what that means when I say all 22, I'm talking about the coach's tape where you see all 22 players on the field for the entire duration of the play. There's no score bugs or any other graphics on there. It is just
mhm,
the players out there from kind of a zoomed out view. Um, it's just something I have to keep in mind. So I'm not watching coaches film, but I am watching every every play of from this player from this game. So I just want to preface that. Yeah, Rhett, I've been wanting to find guys who I think would be good for the Broncos. I have been watching a lot of positions that I feel like are needs for Denver. Rhett, when I look at off-ball linebacker, um, I look at our room we have right now, and I see our top three players: Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Justin Sternad. all three have missed significant time due to injury.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and I don't know that I love the room. I think Alex Singleton's a great human. But we've talked about our opinion of him as a player. I think Dre Greenlaw brings the juice and everything, and I think he brings some wild plays. But I think if I'm having to be honest with myself, I've mostly been underwhelmed by him so far. As a Bronco, I've said before, I think Justin Sternad is probably the one that I have the most faith in right now. So that being said, I feel like the room could be upgraded this offseason. And so I've started to look at linebackers. And Rhett, there are some really good ones. Um, Top of the draft, you're looking at the Ohio State guys, Arvell Reese, who's kind of that he think that like hybrid edge linebacker
Hmm.
player, and then of course Sonny Styles, who I think to me is probably the best pure off-ball linebacker in this class. You also got guys like C.J. Allen from Georgia, who's really fun. You've got Anthony Hill Jr. But I started looking at Jake Golday from Cincinnati, and I really like this guy, Rhett. And I am going to start by saying this. Not only do I like him, Rhett, but right now today, I would be comfortable with Denver at the back end of the first round taking Jake Golday. And
Wow.
I don't think people agree with me about that, but I will go ahead and just call my shot right now. After the combine, as we get closer to April, there will be lots of people who will agree with me
Okay.
about Jake Golday. Okay, so let's get into it here. Uh, Jake Golday, excuse me, sorry. He's kind of he's the mold. I mean, you see those measurables on there 6'4, 240, the modern day new age linebacker, uh, highly athletic, right? If there is something we're hanging Jake Golday's hat on, it is athletic traits. Okay. Both of his parents played college basketball at Union College in Tennessee. And then his brother played college basketball at Tennessee Tech. So very athletic family. Okay, it's not a it's just it runs in the family. Okay, he's got the athletic
Hmm.
pedigree. 6'4", 240 pounds. Really interesting. He's a former defensive end. So I was kind of reading like as much as I could background on him. And when he was in high school, like he was real skinny and slender. And a lot of that was because he was also playing basketball as well.
Hmm.
And so he tried to put on weight, but he was doing so much cardio that it was like preventing him from obtaining mass. And then finally, he kind of like stepped away from that a little bit and he started to pack on the weight. And he was a defensive end at Central Arkansas. So that's where he went originally, an unranked prospect out of high school. He
Well,
goes to
yeah.
Central Arkansas. Sorry, go ahead.
Really quick, on that point, I was going today because you told me Jay Golday's the guy. I went
Yeah.
to try to find
Yeah.
like some his highlights or whatever, get a sense. Accidentally clicked onto an interview he did for Cincinnati, like with their
Okay.
radio guy. I don't know, and
Okay.
on the athleticism point. He was like, they were like, "Oh, and you played basketball," and he said, "Yeah, I was okay. I mean, like, I wasn't great. I got
Yeah.
called up to varsity as a freshman, but I wasn't like playing important minutes. He's like just to for this
Yeah.
this guy, he's like, I mean, I wasn't that good. All I did was make
And
varsity as a
and and
freshman.
and and here's the thing: he is the worst of those people in his family. He's probably the worst basketball player,
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, he goes to Central Arkansas. He plays defensive end. He's got a really good career with the Bears. Okay, and he ends up transferring to Cincy. Um, I, Rhett, I put it plainly. I think this dude is going to blow up the combine.
Hmm.
Um, the thing that I like, I think my main takeaway when I was watching him, other just like this kind of goes hand in hand with the athleticism, man. He hit when you talk about range for a linebacker. Man, does he have it? He has some incredible range. I think his tackling fundamentals are good. I think they can be improved. But listen, he sheds blocks really well, and he even like I was watching a couple of games where like when there's some kind of like funny business going on in the offensive backfield, whether it's reverse or end around or things like that. Jake Golday is so good at keeping his eyes on the right ball carrier while also sensing the traffic around him and still getting to where he needs to getting to the ball carrier. I put it this way, like when I was watching him, I was like, I bet Jake Golday is really good at when you go to sporting events and on the screen they put like the baseball under like the helmet, and then they put it's like he doesn't get his eyes. I guess like what I put down is his eyes don't get fooled often. Okay.
Mhm.
The defensive end background, I was delighted to find that it definitely shows up in moments for sure. This is a guy who heavily deployed so Cincinnati plays a 3-3-5 for
Mhm.
their defense, which is kind of bucking the norm there. And so Jake Olday, a lot of times he was utilized as an overhang player, so a guy who, in other words, he's inside the boundary corner, but he's also further off the line of scrimmage than you would typically expect. Okay. So I did right. I put this. The Bearcats ran a 3-3-5, capitalizing on Golday's athleticism by putting him in an overhang role often. So I do wonder how he does early in a more conventional NFL defensive shell. Okay, we'll have to see some of that. Right, he needs some technique refinement. Okay, I don't think the coverage skills are great. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't think they're great. But listen, uh, the body language, I mean, is an off-ball linebacker body language. Okay, like you see him, he's out there. He is passionate out there. He's fired up and everything. Um, I put this. He's not perfect, but ultimately the athletic profile is so good that it's worth swinging early, in my opinion. When I watch off-ball linebackers, the traits I prioritize are range and instincts. Golday consistently shows both of these, and I think his flaws are coachable and improvable. Um, so yeah, like
Mm.
I know when I look at players, depending on the position, what I like to do is I like to pinpoint a few baseline traits. Um, just so like that I because I'm not an expert on this, so I'm trying to like can I notice the baseline thing so I can at least those are kind of like anchor points for me when I'm watching a player. And so for an off-ball linebacker, yeah, I need to see range and I need to see instincts. I think if you don't have those, you're gonna be just a guy in the NFL.
Mhm.
You're gonna be a special teamer, backup at best. Dude, his range is unbelievable. His range is up there with some of these, the best linebackers in this class. And I do think he's got the instincts too. Um, if you have those things on top of first class athleticism, give me that all day, and
Mhm.
I'm going to trust my coaching staff to teach you the things that you need to improve on, and I'll roll with it. So yeah, Rhett, that's what I got. Jake Golday. I think right now people are valuing him. I mean, pretty high. It's not like he's some late round diamond in the rough. I think most people have him going in the second round. I just think he's good enough to go at the end of round one, man. I think in a draft class that's a little bit underwhelming, I'm just wanting to swing on some guys who have those rare athletic traits, and that's what I see in Jake Golday. So
I mean,
definitely one of my guys.
yeah, I mean, that sounds incredibly exciting because that's some of what the idea of this defense needs
Yep.
is linebackers playing triggering downhill. And if you give us a big body like 6'4", 240 in modern day NFL is a pretty big linebacker. Um,
Yep.
and I mean, you think you add Vance Joseph's blitzing, disguise, confusion causing front seven. That's that sounds great. I kind of like that you watched his film and I listened to an interview of him because they during the interview one of the guy brought up a quote that his coach had been said that he's a golden retriever off the field and a Rottweiler on it. And
that is like top tier coach speak right there.
I was like,
Yep.
okay. I'm in on the idea. And two, like kind of the pipeline there, Central Arkansas, they just had, was it last year or 2 years ago, had a linebacker drafted out of Central Arkansas, right?
You're right. I forget his name, but that's going to drive me crazy. But
But
you are right. That's a great pull.
also
Yeah.
an athletic freak. I can't remember. I drafted him a lot in the draft simulator. I remember that. He was a late
Yeah.
round guy for me.
I'm gonna have to look this up because it's gonna come to my brain. David Walker he was a defensive end this past year. That's what it is, and
That's right.
he was a, if I recall correctly, he's like a real short stocky.
Yes. He was
I
like
gotta look
6'2".
this up. Yeah, he's like real small. I gotta look this up now. This is good because I remember watching him and being like, this is one of the weirdest looking pass rushers, but he was so good.
So yeah, a
David
couple years
Walker.
ago, David Walker
Yeah,
and
he's
Jake
so
Golday.
David Walker. David Walker was 6'2", 260 pounds.
Oh
This dude
god.
is a fire hydrant.
He's
Uh,
a tesseract.
this is yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah.
Man, David Walker, fun player, fun player.
But no, that sounds exactly like what this defense needs is someone to come in and um like you said, Dre Greenlaw, he provides that punch, he provides some of those big time plays. He's not always available, and he's on the back end of his, certainly he's
Yeah,
leaving his athletic prime.
yeah,
He's collected some injuries, and so getting another big body that can come in and put pressure in that way, that helps, because I feel like Justin Sternad, if he's the guy that we kind of are taking going forward, um, that complements and fits in a little bit with his skill set a little bit more. We still don't have anyone who's phenomenal at coverage, but that would be, I think,
yeah,
a great thing. And yeah, you just got to trust your coaching. Linebacker is a position that very rarely you get instant returns on. It's usually you have to simmer. Even the first round linebacker, even I remember Devin White coming out, like he was
yeah,
he had
yeah,
flash plays, but he was not consistently good for the first really 2 years of his
yeah,
career, and that's usually what happens. And so um,
yeah.
that would be
And
very cool.
is it possible that Jake Golday comes into the league and he does need a little bit of time? Of course, that's possible. But I mean, I'm just telling you, like the athleticism, it's there. It's there, man. Like
I mean, I don't know. The problem is
he's got the
don't
juice.
Ian, we have Jake Golday at home. Uh, we just
Get out
activated
of
Jake
here.
Golday off the IR.
Get out of here, man. And I liked Drew Sanders too coming out. Like I liked him. I had him as linebacker one. Uh, but that's disrespectful. Okay.
Listen, we'll see
Uh,
whenever Drew Sanders comes in and he stops the Bills' run game, and he's the secret.
the
We'll
funniest thing, I know it can't happen with Audric Estime. Um, but that'd be the hilarious thing is like if your guys start to emerge and like win us playoff games. Drew Sanders is like forcing fumbles in the fourth quarter. We activate Caleb Lohner, and he comes in
Caleb
and starts
Loner,
making big catches.
dude,
Oh my
just
gosh!
absolutely mosses someone. That'd be great. Man, I've forgotten that Caleb Loner exists. We're late enough into the season. I was like,
I'm only mostly sure we still have him on our practice squad. I don't even. I'd have to be told if that's the case.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
you know, that's that's fine. It's we're learning. You're way better at having guys than I am. So uh but okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this game coming up, man.
mm,
We have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills coming to town. A team that just last season in the playoffs uh really kind of bullied us, uh and made me feel bad. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be vulnerable. They hurt my feelings last year. Um,
so
Ian, do you want to talk about the Broncos offense or the Broncos defense first?
it doesn't matter to me, man. You just tell me, and I'll talk about him.
Let's do defense. How do we stop Josh Allen?
Okay, well, this is interesting. If you've been paying attention the last few days, the Buffalo Bills have a very injured wide receiver room. Tyrell Shavers goes to IR. Gabe Davis, I think, goes to IR. They're right now. I think they're activating Curtis Samuel, which like whatever. Then they have Brandon Cooks, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman. So then, you factor in Dalton Kincaid is kind of like a big wide receiver, that like F
Dawson
style
Knox.
tight end. Dawson Knox, who's been making some plays actually, and then of course they have one of our draft darlings in Jackson Haas. Jackson Haas. That's what I say. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, our defense, I predict that we're going to try to go with more of a heavy front to stop the run because that's what the Bills do so dang well, right? I mean, they run the ball so well. Yeah, I think there's going to be kind of this like, can we get to Josh Allen without blitzing, and can we do it consistently? I'm not sure. We'll see. I think that Jaquan McMillan is going to be a pretty pivotal piece in this matchup in the slot. There's a lot of factors here, but ultimately, like I think our game plan is going to be like we are going to try our best to play big boy ball up front and not let them win on the ground, and then we are going to do our best to try and make sure we're getting to Josh Allen without just having to send the house because he can be dangerous in those situations. So, if you're asking how I feel about it, I feel okay. I don't know. Like you got to remember, like last year we were like at halftime it was like 10-7, right, or something like that.
I think they kicked a field goal to make it
Or,
13-7 at half, but it was like
okay,
late into the
and
third,
right.
13-7.
We like hung with them, and then there's just a couple things that just it all kind of fell apart. So
Josh Allen did one of his Superman plays. He made, I think, Nick Benito
yeah,
miss, and then like put a laser in the back of the end zone on tight
is
coverage,
that the
and that
is that
made
the
it
Ty
20.
Johnson? Was that the Ty Johnson
I
catch?
think so, and that
Yeah,
made it 20. That made it 20-7, and that
they're
broke.
like that's probably the dagger.
Or
Yeah,
I think they went for two, made it 20, something like that. But yeah, that
yeah,
was sort of the dagger, and then the dam
yeah,
broke, and
yeah.
then it was just one way traffic, and uh we'll see. I'm interested to see because I know Vance Joseph plays so much like our defensive line and whatnot. We're a lot about creating chaos. We're a lot about
Yeah.
like we do kind of like stunts and twists and moves and whatnot along the D line. And I feel like Buffalo is hoping we do that. I think Buffalo loves it when they play teams like that because the Bills
Yeah,
just sort of they're just sort of really large, they're just big.
they're big
Um,
up front, man. Yeah,
and
totally.
like they ran for like 250 yards against the Panthers or something, and they ran the same run play 9 times in a row. The same concept 9 times in a row, like just right down the field and scored. And
Yeah,
I think this is going to be one of those like Vance Joseph is going to have to throw a change up here. I'd like to see a defense. If I was Vance Joseph, I'd be approaching it from we're going to have very solid run fits. We're
yeah,
not going to do anything too crazy. And we're not like I would say like we're trying for coverage sacks. Like I would enclose the pocket because I would rather Josh Allen be throwing. I know he's incredible now at throwing
yeah,
the football. I know he's incredible. Like
yeah,
I would rather be letting Josh Allen try man coverage and be a little bit uncomfortable in the pocket, not let him out, not let them run, and then trust the secondary that we have than doing
yeah,
than trying to lean too far into creating chaos. Because like if Benito gets around the corner, or if Jonathan Cooper gets around the corner and doesn't get Josh Allen down, then it just like that's the most frustrating thing in football is watching a very mobile quarterback, a very strong quarterback, beat the first defender that
yeah,
gets there, and now there's a rush lane, and you're like,
definitely,
oh. So
definitely.
I'd see with
Yeah,
that, but Ian, the thing that killed us, even though they gave up 31 points, wasn't really the defense. Like you said, it was the
right.
offense and Bo Nix and this
Yeah.
offensive and Sean Payton that really didn't come through in Buffalo. So what do you see? What is different this time around? And how would you see the Broncos attacking this conundrum?
Well, I think what's different is Bo Nix has definitely improved, particularly pre-snap this year, which I think this is going to be a really great test for him. So, I mean, if you think about Sean McDermott, he comes from the Jim Johnson, coaching philosophy tree or whatever, and a lot of the Bills love doing a lot of different disguises with zone coverage. They do a lot of confusing stuff. So, and Bo is not as good against zone. Um, this will be a test for him. There is an interesting piece. I texted you and our friend Monty earlier. Shout out Monty. Um, I I think I texted you
Shout
guys like
out.
how Jordan Poyer is out,
Hmm.
which
Yes.
he hasn't been like great for a few years, but he is a veteran and he is really smart. And with all the communication that's necessary in that defensive backfield, that could be like a loss that they feel to some extent. But they're going to mix a lot of different things up. They're going to make Bo try to figure that stuff out, and it's going to be a big test for him. Listen, it stinks because their weakness on defense is run defense. Like teams have been able to run the ball on them. We don't do that well,
Hmm.
especially with J.K. Dobbins out. Um, this feels like a game where Sean probably needs to give Jaleel McLaughlin more than 10 carries. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Jaleel is the better pure runner than RJ. RJ is probably more dynamic, and he can do all. I mean, we know all the touchdowns he scored and everything. But if we're just talking about pure running, Jaleel is the better runner. I think he's probably going to need to get like 15 carries or something like that. And um, I think we're going to have to be able to move the ball on the ground, and we're going to have to not run away from it. Uh,
Hmm.
Today, I listened to Sean's press conference, and he said like about running the ball. He was like, I'm writing it down on my play sheet that we got to keep running it, which unfortunately means nothing to me because I've seen his play sheet during like when I watch games, and there's like it says like run it with like 4 exclamation points,
It's
and it's
always on the
always on the
backside, though.
backside. And so in my mind, I saw that quote for I heard him say that, and I was just like, okay, cool. Bo Nix is gonna have 38 passing attempts, like
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Oh man.
so yeah, it'll be interesting, man. Like I think they will. I think they will try to keep our offense, contained, and we have to kind of live in the underneath. And it's not the first time defenses have forced us to do that, but we're just going to have to figure it out. I mean, this is it. Like
Hmm.
Sean and Bo, they need to show us that, you know, that they can do it against a defense like this. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a good barometer for sure.
Yeah. I need Sean Payton to get disrespectful with his play calling. And luckily, Sean Payton has never been a respectful man. The I know the issue with McLaughlin has always been he's not a great pass protector, he's not a great pass catcher. So when he gets onto the field, that's kind of an alert like, hey, it's probably a run play. I don't know if that should deter us from using him in
Not at
against
all.
Buffalo. I think we line up and we say yes, this is what we're doing, and if we can get ahead of the sticks early on first down, if we can do that, then we start to be able to incorporate play action into it and use McLaughlin as a decoy in the passing game. Where or
Yep.
a decoy, like he's not run blocking, but he is creating the illusion that we might actually run, and that can help with play action. And
Yep.
uh I just I'm really confident in Sean Payton. I think last year going into the playoff game, um he he wasn't really 100% sure what all he could call. He didn't feel like he had all of the tools available to him. And that was really the first time that Bo had experienced a playoff defense, had experienced all of this. This year, this year, I think Sean has a grasp of this offense, and I even feel it like against Los Angeles, him pulling back and getting vanilla. I think he is cooking up a lot of stuff, and I gotta say, like I think that in terms of matchup wise, the Bills are the toughest matchup that the Broncos are going to face in the playoffs, in terms of just styles making fights, right? Um,
Yeah.
this is the game where Sean should unload the clip on. Hopefully, it's not trick plays. Like I don't mean that, but just hey, all that designer stuff where
Yeah.
like we've been complaining, oh, the last
And
few
it
weeks,
looks great
hey,
when it works.
yeah, the last few weeks. Oh man, the red zone offense looks bad. Oh man, it looks all bad.
Yeah.
Guess what? We've been doing the last few weeks. Sean Payton said, "Oh, I all but have the 1 seed wrapped up. I all but have the AFC West wrapped up. I know that I'm probably in the playoffs with a chance to get dangerous, and I think he stopped calling the nice designer plays. I think he's been saving them back because that's the only profitable explanation I have for our red zone offense for the last month is that Sean Payton went, "Ooh, I don't need to scheme up, like because when we scored like against the Jets, we had a terrible game and it was so nasty. The one touchdown we had, we got into the red zone and I think it was I think it was an RJ. I think it was RJ Harvey that it was a running back, and we got a running back wide open on a wheel route, and it was just
It
like
was it
super
was
designer.
actually Nate Adkins.
Nate Adkins, that's right.
Well,
That's right. That's right. A fullback, huh? Um, or a tight end, depending on the play. But we got Nate
you know what? No,
Adkins,
no, you know what? Football player,
football play
Nate Adkins,
playmaker.
football
Nate,
guy.
you know what? He's just Nate Atkins.
He
You know
is,
what?
man.
The position should be lucky. Uh, it feels like sometimes it's just a hot knife through butter, and then sometimes it's just a slog. And I think it's a hot knife through butter whenever he's like, I need to pull out some of these crazy plays. Like we got to do this. And so I'm hoping that he has some of those specials in
So it's
reserve for
it's
this game.
funny, Rhett, because I've heard that side of the argument, and this is
Hmm.
I you and I we kind of land on like two sides of the same coin with this because I do agree with you that Sean Payton was calling very vanilla stuff against the Chiefs and the Chargers to end the year. I personally, probably because I'm just a little more cynical, I don't think he was stashing away some super secret plays. I think the mentality was just more simply, let's just control the ball and not make any dumb mistakes and just get out of here with the win we know we can get. Um, but the majority of people I hear from say what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm
I think
very,
it's probably in the middle. It's probably like
I'm
he's got
very,
maybe
well,
one concept that he was like, "This is
I'm
cool."
very, I'm very curious to like see on Saturday. Like I would love to go back to this and be like, oh wow, yeah, I was stupid. Sean definitely had some stuff up his sleeve because that'd be amazing.
Yeah, uh,
So
I'm not excited for how sick I'm going to feel when uh, when like Sean Payton pulls out a trick play halfway through the second quarter and it definitely doesn't work.
yeah,
Uh, we'll see. I think this year Bo's weapons are better. Um, outside of Cortland Sutton, everyone else like another year for Court is whatever. But Troy Franklin is a different player. We
yeah.
have a Pat Bryant this year. Um, the running game I think is going to figure itself out. Hey, look, Cooper, the
This
third man
guy,
on the
this guy
pod.
got out of bed. Hey, why
Ho
are
ho
you out of
ho!
bed? Why are you out of bed?
Ask
Well,
Cooper who he thinks is going to win this weekend.
Cooper, can you tell who do you think is going to win, the Bills or the Broncos?
The Broncos. That's right.
The Broncos.
That's right.
All right, I need you to go back up to your bed, okay? Love you. Anyways,
Fatherhood. It's
fatherhood.
picturesque.
Yeah.
It's exactly it. The young king. All right. Um, Ian, you ready to predict what's going to happen in this game?
I am. I'm ready. You want to go first or you want me to?
I'll go first. I haven't thought about it.
Okay.
Getting a download
Well,
from from above, and I'm going to tell you. Whoa, that's so Raven. Um, here's what's going to happen. The Broncos are going to win. We are
okay.
going to win by a score 28-27.
Okay.
And it's you'd think it's going to be
Yep.
drama at the end. No, no drama at the end. 28-27 going into halftime. Shutout. double, double shutout.
Oh my goodness. That
Missed
would just
field goal to end the game.
that is diabolical. That sounds like a game designed in a lab with the intention of making Ian mad. Oh man.
A tale of two
Oh man.
halves.
If I had to lose, if we had to lose to the Bills, my preference would be walk-off touchdown caught by Jackson Hawes. If it's got to be something, that's what I
Wow.
want. I want it to be that.
Can't believe
Rhett,
Ian
I
wants
don't
to
know.
lose. Ian's
Yeah,
preference for this game is to lose to Jackson Hawes in dramatic fashion
listen.
for his draft priors.
You know what takes precedent over a fourth Lombardi Trophy? The Jackson Hawes agenda. Okay. Yeah, no.
that gave me hiccups. Okay. All right.
The Jackson Hawes agenda. Are you serious? We're in the weeds. Rhett, I want to pick us to win. I am very skeptical about. Here's my rap. So I think I'm going to take Buffalo 24-20.
Okay.
Are you all right? Oh, you got
Yeah,
the hiccups.
I got.
Yeah. So I
get
can't
the
see
anytime.
your face.
You can't see my face.
It's been doing this thing the last few times where so far into it it just blacks out.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can only see myself. But anyways, I'm gonna start with the assumption. Like my first premise is we will not be able to run the ball consistently, and Sean will not stick with it. And then from there, my second premise is Bo is not going to be able to consistently figure out these coverages enough for us to get things like to put enough drives together to win the game. Which I know is disappointing. Like that's not fun. I want to be able to pick us to win, and I think we totally could. Like it's not going to shock me if we win this game, but we're the 1 seed. I think now we're the slight favorite.
Yeah,
it keeps moving. We were home dogs, but then all the injuries to the Bills. I think.
Yeah, we're giving them 1.5 points. So
okay.
favorite.
So I'd love to be wrong about this, and I think of course we can certainly win this game in which we're the 1 seed and we're at home. Totally, but I do think if I have to actually say it, I'm going to take Buffalo 24-20. So hope I'm wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, regardless, I would say to the masses of people out here listening to this through my hiccups is in life there comes these moments where that you are standing on an emotional cliff. I can't do this. On an emotional cliff, and it could be absolute ecstasy if things go well, but it will also hurt so bad to open your heart up, to be to be vulnerable to hurt and loss here. And I would beg anyone listening.
Man.
I know this is ridiculous. Open your heart to this team, to the possibility of winning. Yeah.
I will say this, Rhett. I will say this because I know it's kind of lame for me to pick the Bills to win. I do think that whoever does win this game will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. So
ooh, that's a good take.
If Denver does win this game, I pick them to beat the Texans or the Patriots, and I think they go to the Super Bowl. So, yeah.
So this is the Super Bowl for us. So yeah, let's embrace it. I'm going to feel absolutely awful if we lose, but I want to fully feel this win. I want to expose myself to that. I can't. This just happens from time to time. Regardless, man, if this is the last time we pod with an eligible Broncos team for the Super Bowl in the year of our Lord 2026, it has been a lovely season, and we would just keep rolling into the offseason, but I don't think it is. We're the 1 seed. We're at home. We got Mile High Magic, baby. Let's trust
go, baby.
God bless Bo Nix.
Chase that Lombardi. Good night, everybody.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.